Welcome back, dude and dudettes, to another wild episode of Send It Mate. We're here to talk about all things hunting and outdoors. And today, we've got something that'll keep your gear running smoother than a dingo's getaway.
That's right. Our show is brought to you by High Caliber, the gun and knife oil company that knows how to keep your firearms and blades in tip-top shape.
High Caliber is like the secret sauce for hunters, anglers, and outdoorsy folk everywhere. It's like the magic potion that makes your gun and knives happier than a dog with two tails.
You know, guys, I've been using High Caliber oil for a while now, and let me tell you, it's the duck's nuts. My rifle practically sings a lullaby when I take it out hunting.
And speaking of lullabies, ever tried sneaking up on a deer with a squeaky gun? It's a prime way to end up with no venison in the freezer. You'll be hungrier than a vegan at a bacon festival.
Absolutely. But with High Caliber oil, your gun will be quieter than a ninja in moonlight. You'll be stalking your prey with the grace and stealth of a mountain lion.
High Caliber doesn't just keep things quiet, it also prevents rust and corrosion, so you won't find your gear looking like it spent a season at the bottom of a creek.
That's right, and for you knife enthusiasts out there, High Caliber has got you covered too. Your trusty blade will slice through anything smoother than butter on a hot biscuit.
So, folks, don't let your gear become a rusty, squeaky mess. Head on over to highcaliber.com.au and grab a bottle of their oil today.
And if you use the code SENDITMATE at checkout, you'll get a special discount. I say again, use the code SENDITMATE for all your oil slick, stealthy hunting needs.
Thanks to High Caliber, you'll be sending it in style and silence.
So, gear up, oil up, and send it, mate. High Caliber, the ultimate oil for the ultimate hunter.
Yo, welcome back, you dude and dudettes, all you camo-wearing, gun-toting hooligans. We are up for another episode of Send It Mate podcast. I'm Josh.
I'm Caleb.
I'm Couchy.
And he's slow.
Yes, he's on Queensland time again. He's left us. We've had the weekend of all weekends and he's disappeared back to the land of people who
Land of
are,
the free.
Of sun, fish, and
people who are just a little bit
Hunting.
slower,
deer.
a little bit more cruisy.
Hunting. You reckon Queensland is the hunting state?
Better than SA.
Ooh, I reckon Vic. It's definitely not South Australia.
Look, it's the Texas of Australia, but it doesn't have it doesn't have public land you can hunt. That's the only downfall.
Yeah.
No. So comparing just the two, SA and WA. No, SA and Queensland. Fuck.
WA's a write-off, mate. Forget that exists.
WA's gone. I reckon we dig that channel across the border from WA to the eastern side and just push it away.
Right, I've been advocating for this since day dot, but no one listens to me.
Do you know what? That would actually simplify the whole channel project is just to follow the WA border.
Follow all borders. Just channel the borders.
And we don't have to dig a wall. We just
Dig a wall. We don't have to dig a wall.
Don't have to dig. We have to dig foundations for a wall, but you don't have to build a wall. We can just dig a channel.
Yeah, let's channel
Cut them off.
all the borders and then just bridge it, and it makes it easier for the government just to lock off borders.
Let's not give them that idea.
No, let's not do that.
Only we could do that idea if we sort of just kept Queensland, New South, Vic, and South Australia, and we just, branched that off and joined New Zealand. Like, that'd be perfect.
You want to join New Zealand?
Yeah.
You just want their hunting species.
No. They're nice people too.
Most.
Do we go to New Zealand, or does New Zealand come to us, or do we meet in the middle?
Yeah, the smaller landmass should come to us, but geographically they're in a better position. So we should go to them actually.
Yeah. And I feel like doing so will actually somehow amalgamate Tasmania in that as well.
All right, we'll let
That's a
Tassie come.
downfall. Okay.
Oh. Yeah, we'll let Tassie come.
Build a bridge.
We just need to get rid of all the terrible people and move them.
West.
Yeah.
Just create another penal colony.
Another penal
Yes.
colony.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just make WA where we send all the shit people.
Yeah, and all the good ones can come over. It's fine.
We love you if you're in WA. Don't get us wrong.
We do.
We do love you.
We rag
but
on you, but
You
It's just
deserve
your
it.
government.
Yeah, the government. Yeah, bloody hell. You're copping it worse. So, yeah, get vocal, everyone. As vocal as you can and fight against the changes to the gun laws, especially the next ones that are proposed for there. But it sounds like
they're crazy.
Sounds like it's pretty much going to happen, like the 5-gun limit, which is not good.
And that if they deem you slightly incapable of firearms, then they will deny your firearm.
Yeah, they've even got like how you live. Like they can judge you on how you live, how your political stances are.
So that'll be a demographic zone of people that they'll be like, no.
And as much as we hang shit on WA, it's in everyone's best interest around the country to be vocal, because if it starts rolling out there, they'll try and roll it out around everywhere else.
100%.
Like they did with banning bow hunting.
They will. It'll happen.
Caliber restrictions, number of firearms, it's just ridiculous. So
New Zealand had a taste of it, and then they were smart enough to kick Jacinta out and elect someone that's much better. So we need to follow suit.
I actually don't know who is the new person over there.
No, neither.
I can't remember his
Josh?
name. I got like the photo of him in my head.
You got it,
but-
Caleb.
Do you know what we have? We have Google. New
We have Google.
New Zealand Prime Minister. You have to keep talking while I'm Googling. Come on.
No, we can just like let you Google
Chris
and
Hopkins?
then just keep
Chris
talking.
Hipkins.
Hipkins.
New Zealand
Hippity hop.
Labour. The hipster. Hipkins.
Man, one of us should just like become PM.
She resigned.
Yeah, she would have been forced to resign.
Yeah.
So, same as Dan Andrews.
So it's
He
still a
would have been
Labor
forced
government
to
in New Zealand.
Resign.
Oh,
Well, isn't it
he's a
if
ranger.
they
You
resign?
can't trust him. He's a ranger. Look at him.
So is your beard.
Shut up.
Okay, so we can only half trust you.
No,
Yes,
but it's the beard is rank.
Sleep with one eye open.
I had to
should-
sleep
you
with
should dye your
both ears open on the weekend.
Let's get into that later.
It would have been way easier to sleep with both ears closed. But anyway,
What if I
You
could?
permanently have one ear open, Josh. You're half deaf.
This is true.
I also
we've
suffer the
permanently
same
got one ear
affliction.
closed.
You're on my good ear, which made it worse.
We'll dive into that later. The sleeping arrangements for our
Yeah, I
little
have
trip.
no idea what you're talking about.
But well, look, we followed through on a promise to the listeners. We actually followed through on something, and
Yes.
we said we were going to go away and do our little fishing
think that-
trip. We did it.
I think it deserves a round of applause, Caleb.
It does actually. So let's give it one. I don't even know. Oh yeah, we don't even have that on the soundboard anymore, bro. What are you doing? What's that?
It's been way too
I
long.
gotta find it now. I haven't used the soundboard in ages. No, that's the wrong one. There it is. There's the applause. Round of applause for us. That's how long it's been since we even used those buttons.
Yeah.
Yeah, good on us for getting out. We
To
did
s-
it.
To say the least, it was not ideal conditions.
No, we embraced the suck. Which
It was
we
a
did.
perfect motto from before we went. It was a perfect motto to use
Yeah.
for that trip.
Yeah, and we did. Not while we were sleeping, but we embraced we embraced the suck of the conditions, which was terrible. And just looking at myself on the screen now, I didn't realise it was that red from sunburn and windburn and all things
That's
outdoors.
unusual.
I am a pasty white man, so
Yeah, man. I got home, had a shower, and I went to, like, I don't normally moisturise, and Mrs. has given us like a little tub of what I thought was moisturiser, right?
Fucking seem like you need moisture.
your
on the
face
trip.
is just complete evidence that you don't moisturise.
So, anyway,
Like a leather bag.
I've undone this thing and just like whacked a dollop in my hand and started rubbing it, and then just like put it on my face. And I didn't realise, but it was an exfoliating facial scrub. And man, it was
Wasn't
like,
moisturised at all.
no, it was just like sandpaper rubbing down my face.
Not the first time he's whacked a dollop or something in his hand and rubbed it on his face. Anyway, yeah, it was. Look, it was nice to be home and have a warm shower. That was
gold.
That was absolute delight.
To be honest, if we stayed there today, it seemed pretty ideal conditions today.
Yeah.
But
No, we followed through. We stuck to the plan. We headed out as per usual. So once Josh had finished his, the night before, we did some pre-planning. We worked out the conditions. So when we left you guys last week, we were rolling with with single swags each was going to be the sleeping arrangement. And then we had a bit more planning that went into things after the podcast. So we decided actually we'd roll with Josh's tent to cut down on having 3 bulky single swags in the boat.
It was a great idea.
So we rolled with the Oz Trail, the RV 3+.
Yep. What's your opinion of it now after spending a night and seeing how easy
Look,
it was
the conditions we rolled into camp and had to set it up for shelter within 30 seconds. Look, it did as advertised. Pretty much lay it down, unzip it, pull it up.
That wasn't my question.
I would get one.
The only thing I would say is it rattles a lot.
It was like 60-kilometre gusts overnight.
Yes, but I like to sleep, not listen to things.
You're going to get a
that's
rattle
any tent.
in.
That's any tent. That's the only advantage a swag has, a single swag, less rattling in the wind.
Rattling wasn't our biggest problem.
Plus,
overnight.
No, it wasn't. Sleep.
It was a wildlife.
You can
the
sleep.
wildlife was making a lot of noise.
You can sleep much further away from
It was
other
a
people.
rotten buck 3 feet from the tent.
It's just weird I didn't hear it.
Anyway, so we loaded the boat with most of the gear on the Friday night, had it ready to go. And then, Josh, you did your thing on Saturday, and Cash and I went and picked up the boat, loaded with gear, did a bit of shopping for food and all that.
Didn't load anything. It was loaded.
All right, you did the bulk of the work the day before.
But we loaded all the boat and everything on the ute.
Exactly.
So
You hooked the boat up.
We
Yeah.
hooked the boat up. We did some food shopping. We got some beers. We got some
Hang on.
ice.
This is my first gripe.
Oh, here we go.
Right. Because this will go into the whole poll when we got a line in. But one, you rocked up late to pick us up, about 10 minutes late, maybe even a little bit longer. And then we still had to go get things.
All right. So, in our defense, firstly, your old man had to move his ute out of the way of the boat. So, it
minutes.
wasn't a direct pick. Well, it could have been a lot quicker. He could have just driven forward, but no, he had to
he
reverse
decided
out
those-
completely.
3-point turn out of a tight little zone where, there's plenty of room to roll forward and just push it out.
We were 7 minutes late, and that 7 minutes could have been saved if we could just roll up and hook the boat up. And then we had to wait for him to answer the door so we could get the key. That was the other thing. So there was a delay, right? Plus, we figured you wouldn't be done at exactly 1 o'clock. So 7 minutes after 1, I think, is reasonable.
It's
But
probably the most on time you've been, Josh,
Bro, I was waiting.
is
Correct.
being done at 1. Like I'm surprised you called it about 1:04.
yeah, look, I've justified myself. I can't justify Couchy not having a sleeping bag after how many trips to BCF?
Twice. No, once. Twice, I reckon. Yeah. You know those moments where you got a list of things in your head. That's my problem. I had it in my head and not on a list. And I was trying to find this one lure, and it was taking forever to find. And then I knew that it was taking way too long to find, so I started sort of stressing on that fact, which entail I just totally forgot about the sleeping bag. It's lucky I remembered it, actually. I wouldn't put it past me to forget about the sleeping bag and then realise when we get on the boat.
Oh, bro, that would have been a nightmare.
I would have been snuggling up.
Nah, we would have had to nip into Woolies and grab 2 blankets or something. Anything for you. But
Oh, well.
But yeah.
So-
So I had to stop and get a sleeping bag. Yeah.
then we had to get a few beers.
And we had to get a few beers, plus some fuel in the Jerry. So you didn't pack everything, Josh.
No, I didn't do the fuel.
But
Turns
we're
out we didn't
99%
need
of
it.
the way there. We're 90% of the way there. And then, reasonably uneventful trip down. Well, actually, no. I take that back.
No, it wasn't. Because once
Yeah, this is
again,
funny.
you broke my boat.
I've broken something on the
No,
boat.
this is 100% your fault, Josh.
I'm absolved of all responsibility here. So, yes, I was driving, but I did the responsible thing. And once I got to the freeway, I looked at the sign. It was like 100 Ks an hour. And I knew the bimini was just folded over onto the boat, just resting there. And I said, Josh, have you tried this at 100 Ks an hour? Is it fine? It won't just blow up, will it? And what did you say? Oh, well, guess we'll find out.
Nah.
You said it'd be fine.
You were
and then
driving
you,
like-
finished off with that.
you would like driving 120, like easy $120, mate, hitting railway tracks like Dukes of Hazzard.
Here we go.
Like,
I can
mate,
tell you categorically.
it lasted 2/3 of the way without incident at 110 kilometres an hour.
Categorically tell you that, one, the speed limit was not 110 anywhere along.
I know.
the
Hence
trip.
why you were breaking the law again,
No.
speeding.
I wasn't.
I was like
Nice
a
try.
hawk
Nice
on
try.
your
Nice try.
on your
Nice
speed.
try.
This is a weird.
I have cruise
Like-
control, and I did
Nah.
not exceed the speed limit. Sorry.
Literally 2 minutes before this happened, we all said that we probably should tie that down just in case the wrong gust of wind comes through. And Josh is like, nah, she's been right. She'll be right.
Anyway, when I did happen to hit train tracks, and I was already slowing down to come to a T section then, so I would have been doing 80, bounced the trailer over the train tracks. Of course, that flipped the bimini up, and then the wind took it and folded it back over. But then I didn't actually notice it till I turned around the T section. I looked back and I'm like, why is the bimini hanging off to the side?
Out to the traffic.
Oh.
That made it worse.
Anyway, the damage was what? A plastic
Just a plastic connector.
connector.
Yeah,
No
they
big deal.
just let go. A little bit of bone in the arms, but should be right.
She'll pop out.
To be honest, like looking back after the weekend, so much more could have gone wrong.
Oh, 100%.
True.
Oh dear, but it was good. Anyway, so we pulled up.
Pulled up to the boat ramp eventually after I thought we couldn't actually get to it because I was concentrating on the locked gate rather than the right turn that went around the locked gate. But we got to the boat ramp, no dramas. Launched her, no dramas. Put the bimini on the roof.
Of the car.
The car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just to leave it. There's no point carrying a broken item.
And to be honest, like how much Josh was stressing the night before about how much room was in that boat. We had ample room, I think. So once we packed everything in the boat, ready for a trip, there was 3 of us in there. But if we really had to, we probably could have got 4. Just weight would be an issue.
I think we were
I don't
right on the weight limit.
I reckon we were
I think we
right
done
on
right.
weight.
Oh, we're over the weight limit.
So I
We're over.
I reckon we're teetering.
Pretty close on.
Yeah.
It's 3-man tingy. 3-man tingy. 3-man dinghy. Tinny is what I was trying to say.
I think total's like 200 and some kilos.
No,
280.
370. I was reading it while I was sitting there
370.
fucking pounding
Does
along.
that include the outboard?
Ooh. No, I think that's that's 370 people plus luggage on board, not the motor.
Yeah. So there's a good 250 for us 3.
Yep. So did we have 120 kilos of additional weight? Probably not, actually.
Oh, yeah, I don't know. Probably not.
So with the esky,
We would have been close.
Food and
we would have
beer.
been Close.
we had 3 fishing bags each. Oh, sorry, 3 fishing bags between us. Each. Could you imagine having 3 fishing bags each? So we had
The
3
RB3.
fishing bags.
The
The
RB3 was enough.
GoPro.
That's
Yeah, there's 500 grams.
not even.
Yeah, no, I think we probably would have been under the weight limit.
Nah, 2 eskies. some-
Ice, esky. Yeah.
Yeah, ice, booze, water, food, the cooker, fuel.
Oh, the cooker, yeah.
And
And
then
then
the
all the
longer we
safety
actually
equipment.
went, the more water actually was inside the boat. And therefore added to the weight.
Yeah.
Look, we were optimistic. When we launched, we were optimistic about the conditions because it wasn't actually that bad wind-wise when we launched. Because
No, it
I
wasn't.
was expecting to rock up to the Coorong and just see white caps everywhere and be like, no way we're doing this. But I was pleasantly surprised when I saw the water to start with.
Mm.
And especially old mate on the at the launch, he was like, oh, yeah, no, you're fine. You'll be all right. Especially once you get past the mouth, it's all pretty sheltered. You'll be good. At least that's what you relayed to me when I asked what he'd said to you.
Me?
Yeah,
Yeah, I think he did say that, yeah.
because I asked you because I was parking the car at that point. So we headed out and then Josh had to remember which side of the bloody markers you got to be on
Yeah,
for which
man.
direction. And to be honest, it is confusing.
Oh,
And especially
Google
there, because you
fixed
got
that
to
up.
work out which way's downstream and which way's upstream, because it's
Yeah.
Once you pass the mouth, it's opposite, isn't it?
Yeah.
well, honestly, once you pass a couple and you're like, all right, obviously you got to be in between this way, and that means red's on the left, green's on the right, heading downstream, and then the opposite on the way back.
Yeah.
Having said that, the mouth, it was pretty uneventful until we got to the mouth.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. That was just, I don't know.
You have to tell us what happened, Josh.
You give your give your perspective.
Well, look, the way that I see it, we're coming into the mouth, and I already had a little bit of spray and salt in my eyes, and the wind started picking up, so I couldn't really see that great. But then I could feel the current just pushing the boat closer to the mainland. And further we're getting across the mouth, it's just pushing us more and more. And I'm sitting there in my head going, well, I don't want to give it any more throttle, because then we're going to get wet. And at this stage, we'd been on the water for half an hour, so I didn't really want to get wet, any more wet than what we were. And I was trying to be a bit courteous of everybody. Anyway, we ended up just getting sandbanked.
I think that you are a little bit light on the throttle because we're being very cautious of smashing your prop on a sandbar.
Nah, I wasn't worried about really the prop. I think I was more worried about just one, getting too much water on, getting too wet. But yeah, I definitely could have used a bit more throttle at points.
And we're probably on low tide at that point. What was that, like 4 o'clock in the afternoon or something about there? We're crossing the mouth?
Yes,
Yeah, it would have been close to that.
Somewhere around
4:30.
there. Yeah. So the tide was out, I think. Certainly it was.
Yeah, when we got to the spot, it was pretty low tide.
And the water was like, there was no clear direction of water flow. It was like a washing machine.
It was
just washing around everywhere.
It was atrocious.
And not really any clear markers of where you should be. Like, we sort of knew
there's not
a
there.
bit more what to look for on the way back.
Yeah.
But on the way in, it was like, all right, close to the red on the left this way, and then you could just see the next marker the other side of the mouth, but there was no real clear indicator.
No, and you had the barge parked at the start, sort of, and I remember getting up to that going, do we pass on the left or the right?
So
you could have gone either way.
Does a barge class as a boat on the water when it's parked up and just sitting there? Or is it just classed as an obstacle?
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm
I
not
wouldn't think it'd be
I'm not the
classed
one
as
with
a
the boat
boat at
license.
all.
I think it's.
I wouldn't think it'd be classed as a boat unless it's in operation.
You can pass.
But then
either
again, they have
side.
their own work. They have their own work zone anyway that you're supposed to stay out of. So therefore, they probably just negate all that.
And that was the hardest thing as well, because there was buoys that they've obviously marked out around it for their work.
For interstate listeners, the mouth of the Murray in South Australia is constantly being dredged and dug out because it fills with sand and doesn't let any water out. So there's constantly just barges there doing works, pumping stuff out, digging it out. There's excavators just parked there permanently.
And in reality, you could probably walk across the mouth. It's that shallow. There might be a little deep part in the middle that you've got to swim for 5 meters, but then you'd
And
have
the
your
water's
feet.
just moving too quickly to do that.
Yeah. Look, it was horrendous, that current. I don't know if you could feel it or not driving, but giving it more stick, I was just getting more water in the boat and on us, and then it was just pulling left. I don't know. That was just me.
When I jumped on it at the end, we're cruising along, and I felt myself trying to hold the prop or the motor slight right to keep it straight, and just that constant pull of the motor on my arm was a workout.
Yeah. But I mean, yeah, I definitely could have probably given it a little bit more throttle. But having said that, Caleb, you were drenched.
Well,
and by the time we were getting past the mouth,
I wasn't drenched when I had to jump out and walk the boat to deeper water. I wasn't drenched at that point. There was a little bit of spray, but
I remember everyone looking at their coats, and it was like,
past the mouth where it got worse.
yeah.
Like for spray and all that.
But it wasn't actually, it wasn't too bad until we like got out there in earnest, and then I don't remember being super wet on the way out initially, but the wind was doing its thing.
I remember being wet because I remember my sleeve pretty much wasn't dry on that jumper for the whole entire time. Once we got past the mouth, pretty much.
But basically the plan was we had too much gear on there to be fishing, so we wanted to find a spot to offload. Pardon me. We had to find a spot to offload the gear so we could get back out for a fish. Our first try we just needed a break from the conditions. So we just beached it somewhere.
Well, we got past the mouth, and
got past the
just
mouth.
found a dune.
Yeah.
And Caleb, well, used to just pretty much like wanted to beeline straight away.
No, what we did was like, it was all reeds and stuff, and I wasn't sure if that was high tide area. So I didn't want to camp there, and then overnight tide rises and we're in the water.
Foot of water, yeah.
So at the base of the dune, we're like, it kind of looks like it flattens out there, and it sort of raised up to the dune. It kind of like looked like a plateau just before the actual sand of the dune. So we cruised up there to have a look, and then there wasn't any plateau. It was just straight weeds dune. So we hoiked it up there. Well, I hoiked it up and then turned around and Caleb was halfway up. Stopped.
So I don't know. It would have been 45 degrees, this incline.
Yeah, easy.
At least.
Probably would have been 45.
Yeah.
It wouldn't have been more than 45, otherwise sand would trickle down.
So you have to reach a speed at which you are going forward faster than you're falling backwards, basically, because you step in the sand dune and you just sink in and go backwards. So
Caleb obviously doesn't actually lean forward when he walks up a slope. He just walks up the slope. The slope's like this. He walks like this and starts going like that. That's how he tries to walk up. At 90 degrees from the surface.
I had to adjust my method a few times, whereas you just like smashed it up there.
It did look.
Eventually, we all got to the top. The whole thing was we were trying to find a vantage point to see where we could camp. But we got to the top of the dune and it was flat. I was like, what? I was expecting it just to be up and over.
Yeah, same. I was expecting to be like just peaks and troughs all the way through to the ocean pretty much, but it was just all just bench topped up there, which would have been great if the wind wasn't howling away and just there's a blanket of sand just getting blown from about a foot above.
Yeah, we'd have to keep that one in the memory bank for a campsite.
For a non-windy day.
Yeah.
And then to bring a sandboard or whatever you call it.
Yeah. I still think we should have ripped the Yeti lid off and gone down that.
No, your esky had the lid removable.
Too small. It wouldn't even fit half of Caleb's cheek.
Caleb wouldn't get on it.
I'd get on it.
No, you wouldn't.
Shut up. Maybe not there because it's like 45 degrees and then you get to the bottom and you're just in reeds.
See what I mean?
Another sand dune with
You're not even there and
with
you're
a better
making
exit strategy would be okay.
No, just bail out like 5 meters before the base and do a bit
just
of a
lean
roll.
back before you hit the base. And just sort of like
fair enough.
hit and scoot.
Yeah.
He does that just like face plants.
The board just comes out from under him and his ass just hits the ground that hard.
Oh dear. That was cold.
Anyway, we launched again because there was no suitable campsites, and then we started heading. Did we head towards the barrage at that point? Yeah, we headed towards our
we went
intentional
straight
fishing spot, and the wind and waves just got ridiculous. And then there was a few. We were just basically searching the coastline, trying to find somewhere near where we wanted to fish. Also mindful there was a lot of sandbars, so we're paying attention to the markers.
It got better when we got around that corner. Like it got slightly better.
Yeah, it did.
And then we offloaded.
Well, we sort of we saw what looked like a structure. Like, let's head for that. Surely there's some flat ground around there.
I was thinking it was one of those info bay sheds. That's what I had in my head when I saw that.
Structure, it was a shed. We could see a shed.
Yeah, but what Couchy's saying is like in the like public camping areas is those like info like shelter things with like the signage and the what to do and bird species and all that. I thought it was going to be one of those as well. But yeah, we docked and or beached, and discovered it was just a shed all locked up.
Yeah, hopefully that wasn't private property, but
Yeah.
spot.
Funny you mentioned that.
There was no sign saying "Do not enter." So
There was
do
no
they really
there was,
want you to not enter?
there was no signage whatsoever. Like I would have expected
No, there
a
wasn't.
like private
Private
plan
property.
or
But a few hundred meters down the track, there was a house.
That was also closed up.
also
It could have been
locked
a
up,
heritage
boarded
house.
up. Yeah.
Could have been a heritage house that just like the parklands maintain that area, and the tracks that we used was their ways of getting to and from.
Mm-hmm.
If you know where we were, let us know.
Yeah,
It's quite vague.
Well, it is, but
but there can't be many buildings along that stretch.
nah. Like obviously, it wasn't just someone's holiday shack. We're on the sand dune side or the sea side, ocean side of the Coorong. And we just
Or on
needed
the sand
somewhere.
dunes,
We just needed a flat spot to set up camp for the night, basically.
And a bit of a windbreak.
There's a-
So it was actually a nice little spot. Flat, windbreak.
spot.
Yeah. Yeah. Nice little cove, like the world's smallest little cove or beachhead.
Yeah. Oh, and then was that later on that night when we saw the sea lion at the beach? That was after we offloaded all the stuff, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
No, that was later on after
And then
we'd gone out. So we offloaded all
on.
the gear, had a rough plan of that's where we're going to stay for the night, and then we ticked off to actually go to our fishing spot. Got to the fishing spot, and then it just got
Realised
like
it's a shit
10
fishing
times
spot.
windier, and we just anchored, getting peppered.
This is an understatement. It was terrible. It was
Like,
absolutely
you know-
terrible.
You know when it's windy and then you get like waves of water? But this was like water was moving in 3 different directions. So you're getting like triangle peaks of water and it's just like, yeah, you're just getting smashed. And we're trying to cast lures and do our thing.
I don't think
and
we
it
could
just
stand
didn't
up
seem
in the
like it made
boat.
sense.
Look, I just don't
We could have
think...
stood up in the boat, but it's not enjoyable.
Nah, yeah. I don't know. I tried to stand up and flick, and it was like, I was like I was on a skateboard, to be honest. Not that I've done any skateboarding.
Look, I've just found the spot on
Google Earth.
Google Earth.
Is it
and
marked up?
There's nothing marked on it. There's not a thing.
Oh, okay.
Like you
Well, there you go.
gotta,
It's a free game.
you'd be going to even find that on the map unless
See,
you knew where it was.
You can't own that. I wanted to go into the house.
We didn't. But
We did.
We didn't go into the house.
But I wanted to go check it out. Because you can't own... I don't think you can own that. No one should be able to own that.
100% someone can own that.
no one should be able to own that.
What goes through your mind when you think that,
Because
Josh?
it's a beach. You can't own the beach.
It's not the beach, it's the sand dunes leading up to the beach.
Yeah. It's both.
It's actually 700 meters away from the
both.
beach.
Josh, you've just squashed every welcome to country ceremony ever. And I'm actually grateful for that. Do you know, I had just on a side note, speaking of owning things, I listened to a podcast, or the start of a podcast today, one that I like listening to. I love it. And for some reason, they've inserted a welcome to country at the start of it. Like they're listening to it, like it's created on Wiradjuri land or whatever the fuck it is. And then that was the intro. That's the stock standard intro. And then straight away, the next sentence after that, after they started the podcast, it was like, hey, and we're coming to you from San Francisco today because the podcast hosts are in another country. And I was like, do you know, how ridiculous that sounds that they've just done a welcome to country at the start of a podcast and they're not even recording it in the frigging country that they're doing a welcome to country for.
Here's a question. Does the welcome to country only restrict itself to Australia? Or can it restrict itself to the world and the natives in that area?
Like I've seen they do it in America as well.
Yeah.
But at this point, you may as well be like, welcome to the world. Like it's just,
Well, yeah, welcome to the
meaningless.
First Nations of the world.
it's ridiculous. We're all Australian. We all live here. Let's just move on. Cut the crap.
100%.
Yeah, that's my piece. Just as a side note. Meanwhile, we're trespassing on other people's land.
Well, aren't we doing that? Or aren't we doing that like 100% all the time if we're white Australians?
I saw the most. Actually, someone sent me the most perfect thing to do, and it was American wrote it, or an American TV host said it about Welcome to Countries, because it is over there. There's going on over there as well, and it was something like either give the land back or shut the fuck up, basically. Like, I got to find it now. Keep talking.
Oh, and he was a native giving
No.
his opinion on it?
He was just a white TV host. But
saying to the government, give it back or just shut up.
because he's basically
Stop
sick of the
trying to-
Welcome to Country stuff that goes on over
Yeah, I
in
think
America as
I
well.
think we all are, eh?
I'm over
I
it.
wouldn't mind hearing a point of view of, like, just saying Aboriginal and what they think about that. Is it just some sort of media's way of trying to look like they're doing something? Trying to
It's
acknowledge
virtue
what happened
signaling.
when-
It's virtue signaling. bro.
exactly.
It's like not even
It's
an
kind
actual
of like
thing.
saying,
Any
it's like
dingo
putting the
created
Ukraine flag up on your YouTube, like the Facebook
it. Yeah, it's virtue signaling.
profile. It just means nothing.
You don't actually believe in the cause. Oh, here we go. I'll find it. Hang on. I'll see if this works. No, I haven't got Bluetooth connected. Let's go.
Just play it through the
The
mic.
people who start every public event now with one of those land acknowledgements where they say, I'm standing on land that was stolen from the proud indigenous people of the Chumash tribe. I say either give it back or shut the fuck up. To all the people who start...
There you go.
It's a lot of growing
pretty
up
good
that
words
needs to
to
go on
say,
with the
like-
world.
Hey?
It's like it's pretty good because who has the power to do something about it? Is mostly the government.
Yeah, like we're not going to give the land back to anyone. So why are we even saying anything? Like, it's ridiculous. Anyway, side note, move on.
Yeah,
There's a rabbit
it's
hole.
another tangent.
All right, so we got rid of the gear. We headed back out towards a fishing spot. The weather got absolutely ridiculous. We were
Getting soaked.
anchored. The waves were just about splashing over the boat. The wind was peppering us. So we're like,
We're
stuff
getting no
this.
bites.
No bites.
The thing that I was worried is because I've got a like a short transom, and having like a fair bit of weight in that back, or the waves
You
sort of
used to
breaking
live a
those
short
edges.
transom, aren't you?
Yeah, yeah. Long shaft though. We've got a
I'm the
long
one with the
shaft.
weight.
not a
I'm the
short
one with the
shaft.
weight in the back, though.
You got a
You do.
short transom and a short prop.
Long shaft.
Where do we go from here?
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh,
I don't
wait,
know.
Josh. We've seen enough of that all weekend. We don't know you got a long shaft.
Actually, you've raised a very good point. This is a point of order I want to bring up. Josh.
You both had your jaws dropped to the ground in awe, so don't worry
That
about
was
it.
more shock
no,
of
no,
your
no.
actions,
No,
really.
no.
But
I have never in my life witnessed someone fluff their own penis as much as Joshua
It's
Buck.
not fluffing, it was drawing it, mate.
no, you will stand there. You will sit there and, like, we're trying to dry ourselves out, like shorts, pants, whatever you're wearing, underwear. So, shorts down, fire going, and Josh has literally got cock in hand and just massaging it.
We've skipped ahead here. So we bailed on fishing because
We
like, this is
have.
not worth it.
Let's catch
Like,
up.
it's wet. It's windy. So then we've gone, all right, let's just head back. But then because the waves are so high and the wind was crazy, like all the spray was just whipping up over the side of the boat and just spraying us in the face. Like I said while we were out there, and we have video now, which is great, but it doesn't do it justice. It was like someone was just spraying me with like a hose of salty water directly in the face the whole time.
Like it was better at the front of the boat because the spray was sort of going through the midsection of the boat and to the rear where you two were sitting.
Yeah.
So I copped probably 25% of what you guys did.
Yeah.
But it was, I guess, once you're wet, you can't get any wetter.
It just sucks
But
so
it was
bad.
it was pretty funny watching your facial expressions, and I don't know. As you'll see on the videos, you'll have to edit some up and post them out. But it was hilarious.
Yeah.
It's just a lot of pain.
So we bailed on the fishing, and importantly, though, there was a poll about what time we would get
Yes,
our lines wet. This is very important in the chronological timeline of what was going on. We did suggest last week on the podcast what time we'd actually get our lines wet. So we put up a poll because we couldn't remember what we actually said. What was the poll,
You
Couchy?
didn't believe me.
No, I didn't.
So the poll was who mentioned in the most recent podcast when we would wet our lines, or would wet our lines at 5:33. That was the question.
Mm-hmm.
So there was a total of 29 votes. 11 votes went to you, Caleb. That was 38%, and 18 votes went to me, so 62%. So I'm quite disappointed in the 38% that did vote, and they obviously don't listen to the podcast well. I didn't bother putting Josh in that poll because Josh was way out. He was saying the Sunday. So
Yeah, I think most
We
people
knew
would
it
have
wasn't
remembered that. But
yeah,
I don't know, maybe just most people associate, the 38% would just associate me with intelligence and precision, I would say. And just thought by default it was
the
going
poll
to be
shows me the poll shows me who you are. So I just remember this for the future. So, but the poll also shows who said it was me.
Well, it was
So
actually, because it was actually you. You win.
it was me. It was me. I win. I was 3 minutes out.
Something like that.
Well, I can take from
Something
that
like
is
that.
that you
It was
could be 3
5:30-ish.
minutes better.
I mean, do we actually classify Josh just chucking a roll in and a line in and trolling briefly? In which case we bring us closer to 5 o'clock. But wetting a line in earnest, 5:30. Yeah.
But you still lose. But time.
Yeah, because I said just after 4.
Yeah.
So cool. You win. Awesome. You don't win a prize.
I win.
To be honest,
I never do.
To be
I have
honest,
the prize,
after unloading all the stuff, I could see you both pretty keen to get out. But I was like, in my mind, I'm like, nothing's going to be biting right now. It's horrendous.
No, but yeah,
Why bother?
it's embracing the suck, and you just don't know what's going to happen.
And honestly, to that point, if we caught a fish, it would have made it all worth it. Like all the suckiness going up to that in the lead up would have just
Imagine fighting a 1.4 meter mulloway, right, in that shitty weather, and then you get it up to the boat, you lean over to grab it, and the boat tips over. That just would have made much better story. Way better story. Because that's probably what would have happened in that water.
Yeah, that's true.
And the one good thing is the water wasn't that cold. It was cold when it was windy and you were wet, but the actual water temperature wasn't that bad.
Yeah, it was odd,
Well,
wasn't
we
it?
only stood in maximum of 600 mil. We didn't swim.
That's true.
So it's always going to be warmer in that first few meters of the water.
Yeah, but even when we're getting sprayed with
Again, there's a surface
all
water.
right, okay. Anyway, back to Josh diddling himself.
No. Don't skip over the fact
Nah.
that you're against fire, and I think
No, we're skipping a little bit. We're skipping a whole little bit here.
It's giving, yeah, exactly.
So we come back from our fishing adventures for that night. We just got our gear dumped near this shed just because it's the only flat spot in that area to set up. So we come in, we set up our camp actually extremely quickly, in my opinion. So I rate that. And
Good call,
then
good
the
call.
next thing,
Good call on the tent versus the swags.
100%.
That's a
It was
win.
my idea, but yeah. We can go back and review that too.
I feel like I
But-
sent us on the right path though when I said one big single swag.
Yeah,
And we
so
just-
you had
I wasn't
the wrong idea, but the right one.
because the origins of a good idea.
Yeah, it was a team effort because Josh supplied.
It was his time.
So we're set up and we're like, well, next point of call is fire because we're all wet.
Soaked.
And Caleb saying he didn't want a fire on the podcast previously. So we were going to kick Caleb out of the zone and just have a fire between me and Josh. Josh wanted to have a fire up near close to the sleeping quarters because he didn't want to move far from the fire to the camp, which is quite lazy. But then I thought I'd seize the moment of down at the water's edge, we had a good view of the water where it was shielded from the salt bush because it kind of dropped down into the beach area.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's not going to rise up to it, is it? So it was shielded there, set up a fire, as the sort of the sun was sort of getting to that setting zone, it was behind us, but it doesn't matter. And yeah, so we started drying out our gear, and this is where Josh come into.
So at this point, we're all in a jocks. I've saved my jacket, so I had one dry thing to put on. I didn't bring any spare clothes. We went bare minimum to save on weight. At least Couch and I did. Josh brought a whole swag of other things.
Brought what we wore. Yeah.
But we brought what we wore, and I'd kept my jacket aside so it stayed dry. So rolled into camp, took my fishing shirt off, took my shorts off, just rolled around in jocks for the sake of decency, and put my jacket back on. So I'm standing around the fire trying to dry my jocks out. Josh, for whatever reason, was wearing track pants on the boat, so they were soaked.
Yeah, that was a fail.
They should have gone to the fire because there's more holes in these things than tracksuit.
My favourite pair of pants.
They're time to go. Do you want me to buy a pair of trackies for Christmas, Josh?
Yes, please. Actually, not Christmas, no. Something better
Only
than
if we get to
track pants.
burn those pants. We need to burn those trackies.
But anyway, the bigger point here is the fact that you stood by the fire.
It's a small point. It's a small point.
Rotated the shaft of your cock 90 degrees and then was just squeezing it like you were making a Play-Doh log. You know when you squeeze out Play-Doh to like extrude it a bit? It's like what Josh was doing. So he was fluffing himself. But it was constant. You just kept doing it.
I was trying to dry that like bit of cloth in my gooch area and
Trying to squeeze the water
And
out
I'm
of
not the
your
one that
penis.
went like skin on skin, mate. You ended up just standing there, like stuffing your hands down your pants, like, and just rubbing it skin to skin.
I did it in protest to you because I'm like, what are you doing?
No, you didn't.
Leave yourself
Because
alone.
I caught you doing it and was like, hey, you're doing exactly the
got
same
I did
thing.
it. I did it in protest to what you
No,
were doing
it
to
wasn't
try and make
protest.
you feel uncomfortable, like you were making us feel uncomfortable.
Nah, stop looking at it if you're uncomfortable, mate. I'm trying to dry myself off.
We
I don't
standing,
know how that
three
dries
of us.
yourself off. You're shielding the heat and the warmth from the fire with your hand.
Mm.
And you're massaging the moisture around. I don't know, you're probably adding your own moisture as well, but
He's fluffing himself.
it was fluffer up. It was moist.
Fluffer, you're a fluffer.
I'm holding the shaft off the gooch little bit of the fabric to try and dry it.
Josh,
It's simple.
Your shaft does not threaten your gooch, all right?
I think that's why there's a hole in that certain area of the tracksuit pant because of the constant fiddling and fondling.
100%. I feel like it was excessive.
It was uncalled
So,
for.
That's fine.
Like, find the
But-
privacy of your own home, mate, but not while there's three of us standing around a campfire within arm's length of each other.
That's fine because I cooked dinner with those hands and you both ate it. You
you know
mung down
what?
on it.
you know where that came from, I think, Caleb?
Well,
Because we both had our pants off drying out our jocks. And I think that's what inspired Josh's fondling.
to fluff up to make the bulge look bigger.
Yeah, he was like getting excited, I think.
I think so.
Mm.
Yeah. I
There's
don't blame
always
him.
one guy. You got to be careful on campsites.
God's blessed me with being well endowed, so that's
Homophobic
fine.
ways.
Well, he hasn't blessed you with humility, so shut the fuck up.
He hasn't blessed you with grace either, so that's another
Don't
topic
even
of
go there.
conversation.
Don't even go there. Whatever. Anyway, what did we have cook up? We had the bit of steak. It was good.
Yeah, we're trying to cook a full steak. And then, because Josh rated his cooking, he volunteered for the cooking for dinner.
He,
So-
he had to put his money where his mouth was.
Yeah.
I think his
And then-
cooking gear let him down.
No,
I think
Right.
I think it did, because the first set of we had 2 sets of 4 steaks, so we cooked the first 4 up, and then it was just going incredibly slowly. So he decided to chop up the steaks into little bite-sized pieces, strips, and then we set them aside when we cooked them because that took forever. I feel like I'm
Mm.
not sure if it was because I was hungry and waiting and I was cold, but we chucked the other 4 on and closed the lid up while we ate the first 4 with we have wraps and a bit of pasta salad and
Yeah, I mean, I thought we were
Cheese.
just going to have like proper steaks cooked up and pasta salad as a side. But it turned out, I'm glad we bought 2 lots of wraps because they just covered a multitude of sins, really. Like the steaks weren't cooking, so we sliced them into strips and then we just made wraps with cheese, peri-peri sauce, or peronaise rather. Was it steak, cheese, peri-peri, and the
pasta
bit
salad.
of pasta salad in there, all wrapped up.
Yeah,
it was
pasta
actually
salad.
pretty nice. bang on.
It was pretty nice. But I feel like, just going on Josh's cooking here, the ones he tried to cook were quite sort of tough. But then the steaks he forgot about in the barbecue were actually worked out quite well.
Somehow the ones he was paying less attention to tasted better.
Yeah. So what I reckon that
Less is more.
No. I did exactly the same thing to both a lot of steaks. It's just, I think
100% didn't.
No, you didn't. You
pan.
actually shut the lid on the second lot.
No way.
You shut the lid on the second lot.
I think the pan just didn't heat up as well on the first lot. That's all. But I mean, it was blowing a gale, and it's with a gas cooker, butane gas cooker.
It was
So it does
quite a
cook
shielded
slowly.
area.
It does cook quite slow, that little burner anyway. But nah, it was all right. It was edible.
I feel
enjoyed
like
it.
if we had, I feel like we should try with. Oh, you probably won't with that cooker, but if it was my cooker, and we had like a little shovel or something to move the coals, is to get rid of that gas burner and throw like a bed of coals down the bottom, and then that would throw out a lot of heat and actually cook the plate.
Or we just take the swing on, swing off.
Yeah.
Or the swing on, swing off would be great.
Or I'm pretty sure I own a grill, like a perfect little plate on legs that you can actually just put over a small campfire, which I'm pretty sure I left at Ryan's house. Ryan, if you're listening, I want it back.
You think he's listening?
No.
Look, he didn't listen to the podcast when he was on it, so I doubt whether he's listening to it now.
Cody, make a meme, him stealing shit from Caleb and then tag Ryan. That's probably the best avenue of response for that.
Oh, look. And go listen to Ryan's new podcast, by the way, Outdoors and Beyond, that he does with Hey Dog.
Yeah, both Ryan and Hayden. It's not too bad.
Former hosts and guests on the podcast, still our mates. Go out and have a listen for yourself.
It's a bit of a kick in the guts. He just didn't want to do a podcast with you.
Let's not go into that.
I could see some of that grace creeping in. Wow.
Now their podcast is full of laughs. It's good.
That is. Yeah. Very good.
Um,
Look, I'm going to say something.
Good, do it.
So-
Because you're a co-host, so please say something.
So, one thing that I've I guess been tending to a lot lately when out hunting is using wraps for your dinners or breakfasts or anything like that, because it's just like low mess, no fuss. So doing whatever you want to do and then just chopping it up, chucking it in a wrap and eating it. You don't have to have a plate. Yeah.
It's a definite winner. So do you want to roll into
The
what
wraps
we...
are golden.
We'll skip ahead to breakfast while we're on cooking. What do we do for brekkie? Because we're going to have bacon and eggs in a wrap. Same deal.
I don't know. I believe someone was giving a stick because I started chopping up the bacon and I was like...
No, because I thought we was going to have bacon and eggs. Like, that was my theory on breakfast because we had plates, we had forks. I'm like, bacon and eggs, done. But then I turn around and Josh has cut up all the bacon like he did the steak. And I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? Cutting up everything.
So I knew it was going to go into a wrap, but I did...
Oh, well, there you go.
I knew that was happening, but Josh got a big creative with the whole bacon and eggs in the wrap by slicing up the bacon, scrambling the eggs in the bacon, adding all the herbs and spices, then a little sprinkling of cheese on top.
Yeah.
So we had this perfect
Essentially creating
mix,
an omelette.
basically an omelette. And then we loaded that into the wrap, added the peri-peri, the Pyrenees, which I just, every time I say Pyrenees, I think of perineum.
So nice they named it twice.
And apart from like the grit of the
They added the
sand,
gooch
that
sauce.
was inevitable to get in. Apart from the sand in the whatever food we ate, I think dinner had sand as well.
Yeah, there's a bit
but,
of grit, bit extra grit.
It was quite nice.
It was delicious. So,
I would have it again.
yeah, definitely a good breakfast tip. Scramble the eggs in the bacon.
Need a bit of like kick in the actual cooking. A little bit of chili flakes in the actual cooking.
That was down to you, bro.
Oh, well, no, because it's down to you. You went shopping.
There was
No, but
no,
you're
I
the
didn't go
chef,
shopping.
and
That's
he had the
my
herbs and spices.
that's my bag of
Yeah.
stuff. You didn't get the chili flakes out.
You bring in the groceries, so it would include herbs and spices.
You could
But
have put
he's
both
had
herbs and spices in it. There's literally chili mix in there.
No, chili flakes.
There's chili mix.
No, I just need chili flakes.
Look,
You
it's
are the
all on
most
you, man.
particular-
Sorry, all on you. you wanted more kick? You could have put more kick in it. It existed in the herbs and spices mixes that were there available to you at any time.
Definitely need a
And
bit
if you
more
don't,
kick.
if you don't
Need
have
more salt.
meatballs, but you got mince, you fucking make meatballs, man. Like,
It's true.
make lemonade if you got lemons.
Anyway, now we've bridged a gap, and that gap is the overnight sleeping situation.
Yeah, we're past that now, so let's move on.
No, you're not going to get off that easily, mate, because Josh and I embraced some serious suck overnight.
Go on.
And that isn't as bad as it sounds. But I don't know why the hell we put you in the middle. So we're in the
I don't know.
the RV3. We've rolled out the sleeping mats, we've rolled out the sleeping bags. You're in the middle, in between Josh and I. And we both knew full well that you are the snorer. But I feel like you're in the middle because then it was going to distribute the pain evenly to both sides rather than one person having you close.
So Josh took right-hand side, and you're like, nah, fuck you, Josh. I'm going left. So you both get it, rather than you're the
Yeah,
buffer.
one gets it.
I was the last person. I was the last person to put down their bedroll. So Josh was first.
I sneaky thought I was getting onto a good thing because if I sleep on my back, my left ear would be facing you, and that's my deaf ear. So I'm like, this is going to be okay. And I fell asleep pretty quickly, I must admit. But I woke at 2 a.m. to Josh yelling at you.
So it's Josh's. All right. So it's Josh's fault. It's not yours. It's not mine.
I probably would have
Josh
woken
woke
up
you up.
anyway, to be
Yeah.
honest, to the rattling of the tent and the snoring. But I
You
woke
made-
up to
you made it
Josh.
full too, mate.
I woke up to Josh saying, "Oi, shut up, to you." And at this point, I was listening to your snoring level. I'm like, this is not that bad. What's he whinging about? I'm like, what, Josh? He's snoring, not you. I'm like, okay, yep, cool. And then I couldn't get back to sleep because he was like kicking you and just saying,
I didn't feel
trying to
any
get
of
you to
it.
shut up. And the whole time I'm like, this snoring's not that bad. But then he kicked you again and you actually rolled over to me and then you were facing my way. And I was like, this is just diabolical, like the volume.
Oh,
Yeah, well,
And I feel like I can handle like the real bassy, just like, I feel like that's okay. It's the like on the exhale, and then you have a toot as well. Did you hear the tooting, Josh?
I heard it all, man.
There's like I don't know, there's a thing. I can't even replicate it, but
yeah.
the volume is serious, man.
You got to learn to sleep on your stomach or something, man. Like, because this is what I didn't get, and I didn't think we were going to be too bad. Because the last couple of times we've been out with you, and we've been like out hunting and staying in the deer camp in the cabins, you haven't been that bad.
Yeah, there's some nights where I can just be loud, and other nights where I don't really snore at all. It's generally when I drink that I snore loud, or when I'm fucked, when I'm tired, when I've had a long day. That's when I'll snore. And Saturday was one of those days.
It was
And Sunday would
horrendous.
have probably been worse.
It was horrendous, man. I was hitting you with your own hat in the head.
Is that yeah, I know, but you need to do more than that, bro.
Oh, trust me, the thought had crossed my mind.
But like, at least snoring is something I really can't control right now. But you fondling yourself in public you can control that.
Nah,
Yeah, control what you can control.
I was just
Yeah,
drawing.
so-
I'll jump on that bandwagon.
As much as it sucks, I'm trying to do what I can, but it's not an overnight.
It's a
thing.
subconscious thing,
But
whereas Josh is
yourself-
constantly diddling himself.
It's a definite conscious.
Oh dear.
It's just unnecessary. Oh well, we survived the night anyway. I had broken sleep. I can't remember what time I actually went to sleep, but I remember 2:00 distinctly. Josh woke me up yelling at you, and then I just could not sleep solidly after that.
Oh, I slept pretty bad too.
Okay, I don't think so.
Yeah,
Because the
doubt
whole
it.
time I was awake, you were snoring. But yeah, brekkie was good. That sort of got me in better spirits. Got a couple of coffees into us. Bit of brekkie, bit of shore fishing. That yielded no results either. We forgot to mention, was it the morning or the night before that we first saw the sea lion?
I think it was the night before. So it was sometime in that night before we came out. I thought it was as we were unpacking, or it must have been we were going to the fire or something.
Drying
Yeah,
out, I think.
Who saw him first? Because
I
I
did.
only saw him briefly. Yeah, go on.
Yeah, I saw it first. I just saw this black shape pop out of the water. I'm like, it's got ears. What is it? Oh, it's a sea lion. And then he was just sort of chilling, like doing his thing. And then there was a flock of seagulls over him. And then I'd noticed
He was only about 4 meters off the shore, right? Like
Wasn't
pretty
far,
much not
no.
far beyond the boat.
wasn't far at all. And so what they do, apparently, which I'd never witnessed before, is swim down, catch a fish, bring it up to the surface, and then start thrashing about to tear it up into like chunks. And then they start swallowing it. And of course, the birds just go nuts on the surface trying to pick at the shreds of fish going everywhere.
See, we talked about this on the boat when we were watching the sea lion actually do its thing when we're out in the water. But they say humans are inhumane in the way we deal or kill with animals. But yet that sea lion was literally catching the fish, bringing it to the surface and just tearing it in half, which wouldn't kill it instantly. But how brutal is that when you think of that? But no one bats an eyelid. Like,
It's nature.
nature doesn't give a shit.
Yeah. It's pretty specky to see.
Yeah, I'm like, something dying at the hands of a hunter ethically with one bullet within a few seconds is probably a much nicer death than starving to death or getting caught in a fence or getting ripped apart by a predator.
Getting shot in the back by a shotgun from a chopper.
Yeah, here. Agreed, but there's a lot of wildlife in the Coorong, I must admit. Like the variety of seabirds that are there.
There's one species that there's 20 something variants and they all look the same.
Oh, they're like identical twins where the parent only knows the difference.
Yeah.
Oh well, it's to the trained eye. There's a lot of species, a lot of pelicans, a lot of seagulls.
But zero
It was
fish.
like, I wish,
None.
Yeah, I wish there was more actually underwater species that we're getting about and
Yeah.
a little more visible.
Yeah.
There was none.
The under the sea
There's none.
fish would have been nice. Would have happened to catch one, to be honest. And we couldn't tell what the sea lion was catching the first night. But when we actually got out in the boat the second day, we ran into him again. More birds hanging around, and he was just constantly going down, picking up fish, coming to the surface, thrashing around. And we got some footage of that, which is pretty cool. And again, we were like, they looked like decent sized fish that he was catching. So I thought, oh, mate, are these mulloway? Like, what's going on? And then a chunk floated over to us, and we went and got it, and it was just carp. Oh, God, it's not that exciting.
It was a little demoralising when we couldn't actually get a bite and he's just fish after fish without fail, just
It
going
was
for it.
constant, man, for like 10, 15 minutes. Just up, down, fish in his mouth. Up, down, fish in his mouth. I'm like, oh, you're serious?
He was living at large.
Yeah.
Doing all right. So
Probably like in his mind. Look at these poses trying to fish.
needless to say, we had absolutely no luck on this trip, fish-wise. We tried. We embraced the conditions.
We tried hard.
But needless to say, we can tick that off. We're never doing the Coorong in those winds again. We saw how many other boats? 2 the entire time. In 2 days, we saw 2 other boats on the water.
One was at the dock and didn't go out.
Oh, yeah, we're classing is it the ferry? We saw him twice.
Oh, like the
And then we
tour, the
saw-
Coorong Tours boat.
Yeah, so I don't think we'd class him, but
Okay, we saw
What were you
one
saying?
other fisherman.
yeah.
That's
Yeah,
that's pretty like, yeah.
Unheard.
Say no more. If you see one other boat, he's probably one other person stupid enough to do what we were doing.
Yeah, we only saw him briefly too. He probably realised and turned around.
Look, I'd do it again.
I would on better day.
Yeah, better days.
All in all, it was fun.
Yeah.
Like, good experience, good company, like good adventure, good fact-finding mission.
I feel like Zach would know this answer. But does the barge, not the barge, the
Barrage.
locks and that, do they have like a calendar of dates when they would actually open up and close off? So you know and time your trip for when the locks are open.
I'd assume so. Or surely...
See, I just assumed that they were open because the Murray down here is going to flood again, and they had like another 2 foot rise recently. So I just assumed that it would be open.
Yeah, but they could be opening locks upstream up towards like Mildura way rather than down here yet. It could be next weekend that they open it up or the weekend after. So it'd be nice if there probably is a place where you can go online where you can check when they're actually planning to open locks.
With zero wind.
I knew last time who we went out with the first times we did separately. I think you two went separately or not.
No, we were together.
He knew that it was open.
Yeah, he did. We have to find out how he knew. That's the missing piece of the puzzle. But also, weather. I'm not going out in 40-degree winds. 40-kilometre-an-hour winds.
I'll go.
25 was about right. I think Sunday was a 25 k/h wind. I think that wasn't too bad. It wasn't ideal, but it was all right.
Yeah, and when we fished the mouth on the way back, because the tide was doing something completely different on the way back, so navigating across the Murray mouth was fine, and we actually just anchored and fished there as well.
It was a calmer spot almost.
Perfect. Oh, that was bang on. It was like that the whole time we were doing down, but
I think it was just because I was operating the boat at the time, and that's why it was smooth sailing.
Let's roll with that.
there's a lot of things I do different. Maybe waterproof gear whilst on the boat.
Oh, poncho.
Like poncho, because sea spray is real and it sucks. And that's probably the first time I've been peppered like that.
Look, if it was like a day like that, but the next day was going to be super calm, I'd go and just camp, and then be nice and close for the next day, just to get straight out of fishing.
I'd also change up the sleeping arrangements. Or just not bring couches.
It's not going to be. It's not going to be all together.
You're not coming next time.
There will be some distance between us.
Go back to the individual swags, you reckon?
Yeah.
I reckon something like the Elton, but not as expensive. Or just hoochie it up. One of the two.
Yeah, like if we did it in summer, just, sleeping mats under a hoochie, no dramas.
Yeah.
Or just individual hoochies wherever you want to go, as far away from you as possible.
You know what? I'd like to go out there with a couple lads, like a couple boat crews, and just give it a good old run. Because that beach is a great spot to have a few drinks, fire, a couple dudes, just talking some.
It was a nice spot, and definitely would like to go back there.
Would you fondle yourself as vigorously in different company?
If I'm wet and I'm trying to dry myself, yeah.
Like if it was someone you didn't know as well as us, would you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I'm trying to dry myself, mate.
I'm sorry, but I'm stuck on this. Squeezing your penis does not dry it out.
Yeah. If it was a mixed gender trip.
Oh, would you do that in front of a lady?
Yeah.
No, you wouldn't.
All right, that'd be a bit creepy.
Bullshit.
That'd probably be a bit creepy.
All right, so
I'd be like, otherwise this act of faith and all this bullshit would just be bullshit.
It's not crap, mate, so I was just drawing.
Considering the mental health of others.
what act of faith are you implying?
No, like his...
he's following his faith journey.
Following of faith.
His faith journey. I thought you meant act of faith like he's just taking a risk somehow.
Nah.
It'd be a risk if he does it again, I'll tell you that much.
You're just full of what do you call it? Negative comments, this podcast, Caleb.
Look.
It's all right because Jesus still loves him.
Yes, Josh, and I still love you. Somehow. For 30 years.
Love me.
At least one of us does.
You don't love yourself. Look, if we do it again under the same conditions, it's going to be the plot of a murder mystery, I'll tell you that much. And it's not so much of a mystery.
Who's killing who?
Depends.
Come on, Josh.
Well, this would make a great murder mystery, actually. Like, there's plenty of motive. I killed you for fondling yourself. Either of us killed Couchy for...
That's not motive.
That's motive.
No. Just because you're drawing your penis out.
I'm
in
under
front of
duress,
people.
mate. I'm under duress. I'm wet. I'm cold. I'm tired. I'm going to plead
So
insanity.
you're saying that I'm the only mate out of us three that wouldn't kill one of our mates.
I wouldn't kill either, yeah.
Thanks, guys.
No, look, you're safe. Let's be honest.
I wanted to kill you when you were snoring.
Exactly.
Just lucky you didn't have a pillow.
Well, I did, but a blow up one. Always bring a blow. There's like my blow up. Oh, I can not speak again. My blow up pillow fits in the bag that my sleeping
Dry
mat
bag.
goes into, which is
Oh, does it?
yes.
Ah.
Which, as we discussed on the trip, there is ample room to fit our sleeping mats in the bag that is designed for it.
Yeah, kudos to Cedar Summit and actually designing bags that have ample room.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like that needs more recognition.
Yeah.
There's so many items there that you have to get it just perfect to fit it back in. And it's like, well, I haven't got a machine to roll it up.
Like your new sleeping bag.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
My new sleeping bag, I'm not sure if it'll, like, overuse, it'll actually become slightly thinner. But it was tight.
Is it down or synthetic?
Down.
Down.
I feel like it's stuffed with, I don't know. I'm guessing. I have no idea.
Mm.
I just bought it.
It's funny how you mentioned that actually, because I'm gonna shout out to the Oz tent because the RV3 is so easy to put back in its bag as well. Like it's just ridiculous.
I saw you two trying to put it back in the bag.
I mean,
You guys had a little
there
bit of
was
trouble.
two of us doing it. It is a bit tight, but it is big
No,
enough.
it was only tight because we didn't have it centered, and normally it just goes in quite fine, and you can just zip it up. But I mean, it's not really that struggle, or is it? It's not like that. What's it? What can you relate it to,
I have so many
dude?
so many euphemisms, but I'll keep it above the line, Josh. For your sake, out of respect, because I love you.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, we got any more of the trip to get into, or is that sort of
I think that
you sort of glossed over everything? I think there's one
what?
when Josh was getting a little crabby.
Crabby.
I don't know if he actually has discovered it yet.
I don't think so either. I thought of it mid podcast, and I'm like, we need to go over this.
Either that or he's done his washing and it's still in there. You're giving me the look I expect you to be making because
well, you know how we
only us two know about this.
So we rocked up, where we stopped at that info bay, and there's some toilets and stuff, and we're like, let's go just check it out. We needed a break because we were on the boat for like an hour and a half, getting like 200 meters down the water. So we pulled up at this beach, and yeah, when I was walking up to the beach, I saw that bit of metal, and the crab that I turned over the bit of metal. There's a little crab there. I'm like, oh, baby crab. Caleb comes and grabs it, and I'm like, okay, I'm not sure what you're gonna do with that. And then we kind of like
Distracting with the emu on the beach.
yeah, the emu was a perfect timing because it was an emu on the beach, probably 200 meters down the road, and we're like, there's a fucking emu. And then we watched him drinking seawater. That was probably another fail.
That was weird.
Yeah, it was.
What the hell? Was the emu drinking seawater?
I feel like he had a mouthful and then stumbled to his knees, and then he's like, well, I'm down here. I might as well keep drinking. And then we took advantage of that. Well, Caleb took advantage of that misdirection and slipped the little baby crab in your hood of the spiker jacket.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why we're making the jokes about you acting crabby and you're the one that's got crabs, guaranteed.
I had no idea what you were on about. I'm like, these guys are cooked. I'm just doing my thing.
And I'm like, I started feeling a little bit bad because I'm like, it feels like we're just picking on Josh and Josh has no idea why we're doing this. But to us, it was funny because we knew.
Yeah.
So, yeah, maybe check the hood of your jacket. There's a crab in it.
This crab
Yeah,
was
right.
like the size of a 50-cent piece, like legs and all.
Yeah, right. I'll have a squid when I
So-
get home.
Check the bottom of the washing machine or the bag that you packed.
Nah, I throw my
jacket
dirties in the tub, actually.
You haven't washed them yet?
Probably no. I did a first load today, and I've got to go back and do the rest. So yeah, it's probably living in my tub.
It's probably still in the hood. He's just dead.
Probably.
I'm going to assume. Yeah, but apart from that, we made it home safely after a massive traffic delay with the car crash in peak hour bloody roadworks.
What about the will we go through the peep later?
No, I'm not getting into that story.
Oh, well, I kind of.
That was a ridiculous argument again.
No, it's not. It's simple.
It was a ridiculous argument.
Let's go
I
there.
just wanted to see the opinion of the listeners.
Let's roll it out for people because I guarantee you most people will agree with me.
That's fine. Doesn't make it right, mate.
Just playing the percentages, right? So here we go. We're just backed up in traffic, right? And there's two lanes merging and then just a build-up of traffic for Ks on this road. Anyway, I spot this P-plater in his big Hilux with his bloody dog cage on the back, thinking he's a cool dude, and he decides to go off the road, go around everyone else, turning out instead of staying in line like everyone else, and then he rolls up this slip lane and then whacks his indicator on. And he's in his mind, I reckon he thinks, I'm onto something here. I've just cut off 400 metres.
Just to go into something, everyone's slipping into like merging the lane 200 metres back from the end of the slip lane.
Yep. So in my mind, I'm looking at this and I'm like, I hope no one lets him in because he's just been an asshole and he's like just skipped ahead of all these people and now he's indicating to try and get back into the main line of traffic. So I'm like, serves him right if no one lets him in. I wouldn't let him in. And then Josh pops up. Have a little bit of grace, Caleb.
No, Caleb.
Let me finish. Have some grace, Josh, for me. Let me finish the story, right? You pop up. You're like, have some grace, Caleb. He could be, for all you know, he could be racing to get to the hospital because his missus is about to have a baby. You don't know his situation. There could be an emergency that he needs to get there. And I said to you, Josh, I'm assessing the situation, and by the percentages, I would say 90% he's just being a cunt.
No, you didn't assess a thing because it's like before he even started on this little journey of the shortcut that he took, you were swearing and cussing like a absolute carry on, mate. There was no judging. It was just you being and doing what you do. There was no assessing, sorry. It was just straight to judging. And you don't know. What if his mum was in that crash up on the road, mate? Well, you don't know, do you? I'd be racing to get there if that was me.
But
so,
if I was a betting man, I would have put my house on the fact that he was just a young P-plater who thought he was because
P-platers can't have emergencies, mate.
They can, but I reckon he was just being an asshole and thought he'd just skip ahead of all the rest of the traffic. Like percentage-wise, I would say that's what happened.
I wouldn't have gone down the grace route if you hadn't carried on at the start. But because you carried on, I was like, mate, have some grace. Like, let's learn something out of this because you are carrying on.
And then I said to you, what did I say to you? I said, grace doesn't mean that I have to put up with assholes walking over me. Which is
he's not walking over you, mate.
Valid point.
Regardless of what the outcome, he was just cutting a bit of traffic. That ain't walking over you, mate. If that's what you think walking over is, you've really got to work on some grace. Maybe actually do some chatting with the big man upstairs.
And as I said to you,
there's
nothing I could do in that situation because if someone decides to let him in front of me, I've just skipped back one car in the line. But on the grand scheme of things, he has he's given himself an advantage by being an asshole and skipped ahead in the queue. I'm sure you don't like, and we've even discussed this on the podcast because we discussed old people just jumping ahead in queues. Definitely on this podcast, and you were against that. So I don't think anyone enjoys.
It doesn't mean I can't learn
jumpers.
grace. I still learn, like I can learn to, okay, they're old and senile. They may have some issues. They may need to go fix up a duty in their pants. So, yeah, I can learn from that too, man. I'm not saying I'm perfect either. I'm saying that we can learn a little bit by having a bit of grace. And that's been written and taught to us by our Saviour, and that's a good thing, man. I think the way that you were carrying on shows a little bit more that you got to work on than what you think.
I think you boys are going to agree to disagree.
No, we're going to disagree to disagree.
But the rest of our trip back home went pretty flawlessly, really. So, apart from that accident, the accident that we'll slow down for. I think that was an accident. We didn't have another accident, but yeah, it was pretty good. Just going to move on from that conversation.
Yeah, I know. It's either we just.
I think it's probably a good segue to announce maybe our next episode.
Well, we'll put it out there to people. Do they want to listen to Josh and I go toe to toe on religion?
I kind of want to listen to it because I'm going to probably prod and ask a few questions.
Josh is referee.
Flare up Josh.
Do people want to listen to it?
We're planning on having a podcast literally about faith, and probably my point of view on. I wouldn't say I'm a non-believer, but I'm not a follower. So my point of view on it, and then Caleb he's grown up with faith, but he's not an activist, I guess.
I'm not activist. What?
No, he's not. I guess vocal in what he thinks or believes other people should think.
I have a very different perspective on things now with some age and wisdom. And I'm not perfect either, Josh.
Josh is
jump
up
in
front
and
with
have a go at me again.
The way he thinks stuff, yeah.
Josh has a very unique journey as well. So we have some different lenses that we see things.
I'm not saying one's worse than the other.
No.
But it's just, I reckon it'd be a good podcast to get an opinion or get a story and sort of, if someone doesn't know much about what Josh believes or what you both believe in or Christianity in itself, then it might be a good podcast.
Let us know. If you violently oppose us, let us know. Just say something. Let us know.
You're going to be really quick because we're going to, whenever we're releasing this, it's going to be
tomorrow.
This week.
Tomorrow.
So you got a few days to let us know. Otherwise, we'll probably think of something else. We'll probably just do it anyway. But
yeah, stuff a lot here. Oh, actually, no. I have grace and I'll wait, listen and reflect. Do things in a row.
A good word needs to be spread, mate. So I think it's a good idea if we do it. Most definitely.
I think it'd be, like, in my opinion, I think it'd be entertaining.
Be interesting, put it that way. But yeah, we'll leave this episode here. And we have to say once again, thank you all for listening. Hope you enjoyed the fact that we actually followed through with something that we said we were going to do. And we 100% did that for you guys listening, because so many times I was like, why are we doing this? Why?
If we didn't have a podcast, we wouldn't have done it.
On paper,
to be honest,
it looked like a bad idea from the get-go. But yeah, it was fun. Overall, enjoyed it. I'm glad we did it. Next time I'll get footage of Josh fondling himself.
100%.
Then we can put that to a poll and see if it's acceptable.
Maybe you can get some footage of me snoring, just to give the listeners
I have some already.
Context.
It's terrible.
Do you?
Yes, from the multiple camping trips we've been on.
Well, why haven't you got it out?
I'll name and shame you. That's fine. We'll do it.
Oh, I don't care.
Anyway, we're all on a journey to be better. Maybe I just need to learn to have some more grace in a sleeping situation. It's actually, you should have had more grace sleeping next to him and kicking him and yelling at him, Josh.
No, I had grace for many hours.
And I've been wondering why my neck has been sore for the last 2 days. And now it all makes sense. And I feel like that you've hindered my lifestyle since then. Just you could have showed a little grace then, and it was only just a little bit of noise.
True.
I could have. You clearly needed some sleep.
But yeah, the devil took over your actions. Fair for next episode.
Let's leave that for another time. Thanks once again to you listening at home for interacting with us. That was fun, interacting with some of the listeners while we're out there on the water getting wet. And
that was.
Yeah, thanks for listening and supporting us. And also thanks to High Caliber Cleaning Supplies for supporting the show. Make sure you jump on and buy some gear and use the code SENDITMATE for 10% off. And also thanks to Firearm Owners United, who do some really good stuff in the gun law space. Check out what they do, find out what's going on, what they're fighting against. Till next time.
We love you, dude and dudettes. See you later.
Gotcha.
Catch you.
G'day, dude and dudettes. Josh here. Do you find it hard to keep your long, hard barrels free from gun STDs? Maybe you need a clean out of your bore. If this is you, jump on over to highcaliber.com.au and use the promo code SENDITMATE to receive a 10% discount on all your gun cleaning needs. And remember, it's sexy to support Australian-made products. Everyone here at Send It Mate uses High Caliber, and we can promise you that it'll keep your firearms free from those pesky gun STDs.